Hello everybody, welcome back to the Bad Bookers podcast. My name is Jack and tonight I'm going to review NXT, which I've just watched. It was a good show, it was an alright show. There was some storyline forwarding, if you want to call it that, in there. Storyline progression, I think it's called. Especially from the Pete Dunne, Roderick Strong stuff. But we'll get on to that was the main event. We kicked off a night with an undisputed segment. Adam Cole was talking about Ernie Lorcan, who he beat last week for the North American title. Well, he defended the title. And Roderick Strong was talking about Pete Dunne, who he was facing later on the night, like we said. And yeah, it's just a good little vignette kind of thing, which they did. Not too bad. The first match of the evening was Kairi Sane versus Shassa McKenzie. It was a quick squash match with for Kairi Sane. I was just thinking while I was watching it that Kairi Sane, her gimmick, her pirate gimmick, it won't ever get over in the main roster. I don't think. I think it's good and it's good down in NXT. It's one of these gimmicks which was good down in NXT, but on the main roster it would just die a horrible death, in my opinion. She's obviously she's a good wrestler. She knows what she's doing in the ring. It's just the whole pirate stuff. I don't think that'll get over. It's the first time I've seen the Shassa McKenzie. She had a couple of elbow strikes which looked really slow. She looked quite green when taking bumps, but it's the first time I've seen her. So maybe I'll have to go watch some of her other stuff if she's done stuff to see what she's really like. Because, like I said, it was a squash match. After that, Kairi Sane won the match, and then Lacey Evans came out, who Kairi Sane beat last week, was it? Or was it the week before? Can't remember. But Kairi Sane beat Evans, and Evans said, "Look, I'm sorry. I think she said from the Mae Young Classic to the match tonight, I had you all wrong, and I believe you do belong in NXT." And she offered her hand out and she said, "Can you please accept my apology?" Kairi Sane didn't accept it, and Evans just completely twatted her pretty much, and laid Kairi Sane out, and then she walked off. So that's obviously the feud going forward, Kairi Sane versus Lacey Evans. So I don't know who. I assume the whole Dakota Kai thing with Shayna would be Shayna's first feud, because everyone thought it'd be Kairi Sane the first feud for Shayna Baszler for the title. But I'm not too sure what's going to go on there. We're going to have to wait and see. The only storyline progression that we've had with Shayna Baszler has been with Dakota Kai, with the whole Dakota being scared of Shayna and whatnot. So I assume that's going to be the first feud. Anyway, after that we had an interview with Candice LeRae. She was talking about the whole stuff with Gargano last week and started to cry. It was clearly fake tears. There wasn't any tears coming down her face, but she was playing it off like she was crying and whatnot. And she said she walked out the interview saying she has to get ready for a match, where she was facing Bianca Belair later on in the night. So we'll talk more about that once we get to it. After that, we had a little vignette with last Sunday. It seems tonight was everyone that was in the North American title, who, except for Ricochet and Velveteen Dream, and obviously Killian Dane has gone up to the main roster anyway. So I say everyone, the half of the 6 had a little promo vignette, video vignette kind of thing. This time it was Lars Sullivan, and he said that the era of destruction was coming, and he was going to come for anyone with gold, basically. So they showed Pete Dunne with the UK title, they showed Aleister Black with the NXT Championship, and they showed Adam Cole with the North American title. So that'll be good. I think I've said before, I still don't know if I like Lars Sullivan. In my opinion, he looks a little bit green still, but obviously it's the whole point of NXT, to develop them. But I'm kind of getting on terms with him. I'm kind of starting to like him. So maybe this little run he's going to have, he might be able to win the North American title or something off Adam Cole, once Adam Cole goes up to the main roster. But yeah, I hope it goes well. I'm quite looking forward to it, actually. It kind of reminds me of Mark Henry's Hall of Pain, like the Era of Destruction, just tearing through people. We might get something like that. Next up, we had a tag team match between the Street Profits and TM61. It wasn't a long match, but TM61 won via a dirty pin. I can't remember the names of each of TM61, but whoever pins one of the Street Profits, put his feet on the ropes, and then the other TM61 guy held his foot on the ropes. So they won via dirty pin. So okay, that builds up a feud there, I guess. But the main tag team feud that we're having at the moment, without the tag team titles, because Undisputed Era are tied up somewhere else with Pete Dunne. But we're going to get, next week, we're going to get War Raiders versus Heavy Machinery. They did a little video package there, which I'm looking forward to. That should be some hard-hitting stuff. 4 big lads. Well, I say big lads. One of the Heavy Machinery is only 5'10", as I learned tonight. The one that looks like Rhino, looks a bit like a potato sack. He would beat me up. He would beat me up. But yeah, next week we're going to have War Raiders versus Heavy Machinery, which I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that. Next up, we had an interview with Cassius Ohno, who was obviously there last week with Johnny Gargano when they took him to the ambulance and whatnot. And he was saying how he's known both men for 10 years. Well, I think he said he knew Johnny Gargano for 10 years since he started wrestling. So they're like brothers, pretty much. And next week, we're going to see Cassius Ohno versus Tommaso Ciampa, which... Cassius Ohno, obviously on the independents, he's Chris Hero, but Cassius Ohno, his NXT career, both times he's been in NXT, hasn't really... He's kind of the Dolph Ziggler of NXT. He's the pair of safe hands, if you will. He's the solid worker, he's the pair of safe hands. And he would have a decent match for anyone, if I'm honest. But yeah, Tommaso Ciampa versus Cassius Ohno next week, so that should be good. Next up, we had this Keanu Reeves, whatever he's called. After weeks of video packaging saying he was coming, tonight was his first night back on NXT, and it was essentially a squash match against Patrick Scott, who I've never seen wrestle before. Yeah, it's just a squash match. He looks weird. I don't know if I like it. Yeah, moving on. Another vignette from the 6-man ladder match, basically. EC3. He said he's going to turn NXT into NX3. Nice play on words there, I guess. Play on letters. And next week we're going to see him in his NXT TV debut against Raul Mendoza, the High Flyer. And yeah, it's EC3. It's probably going to be a good match, isn't it? After that, we had a match between Candice LeRae and Bianca Belair, and they really played on the fact that Candice LeRae, her mind wasn't there. Her mind was clearly thinking about Johnny Gargano, and that ended up costing her the match. Bianca Belair won, and afterwards they kept on panning back to Candice, and you could see how distraught she was, and clearly her mind was on Johnny Gargano. So clearly that's going to be a good little storyline to tell in NXT with Candice LeRae. And it's kind of good because, like, obviously Gargano Ciampa's, obviously they create magic together, whether that's tag team or against each other. But it's good to have kind of like a side storyline to it as well with Candice LeRae. So I think that's going to be really good. But the main event of the evening, Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong. This was a good match. It always is with Pete Dunne. Being a British lad myself, you always have a soft spot for the British wrestlers. And Pete Dunne, it doesn't matter who he's in the ring with, he seems to create some sort of magic. And this time, they've been wrestling a fair few times over the weeks for the UK title, or was it a couple of months ago now? And they pulled off another decent match. Pete Dunne pulled off the bitter ends on Roderick Strong, went to pin him, but Cole and O'Reilly, who were at ringside with Roderick Strong, broke up the pin, started beating down on Dunne. But Lonely, Oney Lorcan, is it? Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch came out and saved Pete Dunne. So they're holding off on the British Strong Style a little bit longer. Obviously, I'm pretty sure we're going to get that at the UK tournament in June. I'm pretty sure that's been announced. But I was hoping that British Strong Style, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven would come out. But I think Tyler Bate's injured, so I'm not too sure when he's back. But hopefully when he gets back, they can start building a little bit of a storyline there, and I can't wait. But yeah, Lorcan and Birch saved Pete Dunne, and Kyle O'Reilly's shoe came off at the end as they, as Undisputed Era started to run away, basically. Pete Dunne chucked O'Reilly's shoe and it hit Adam Cole square in the face while he was sat down on the ramp. Classic. Absolutely amazing stuff. But yeah, that was NXT. It was a decent evening. It always is watching NXT. You could say because it's only an hour long, or because it's tapes, they can get rid of any botches that happened, or they're just better, which I think they get a bit more free reign in NXT, and they're obviously not having to worry about travelling so much in NXT. Obviously they do house shows and whatnot, but obviously all the recording's done in that Full Sail University place. So that might be it, but it's always a decent showing at NXT, like everyone already knows. But yeah, next week, I don't know if this will be all the matches, but next week we're gonna have Heavy Machinery War Machine, and Cassius Ohno versus Ciampa, EC3 and Raul Mendoza, and I'm pretty sure that was it. There's probably going to be another match which I missed out on. There'll probably be a 6-man tag between Undisputed Era and Pete Dunne and Lorcan and Birch. We'll have to wait and see it. I'm sure next week will be good. Like I said, it's always good. Anyway, if you enjoyed that, please like the video, please subscribe. If you got any questions for the podcast, which we are recording tonight, this video goes out Thursday night. If you got any comments, leave them down below. And Twitter. And if you want to leave questions on Twitter, at BadBookersWP. I run the Twitter page because I'm the social media guy, if you will. So I'll make sure I save your comments and questions and send them over to the lads so we can put them into the podcast. But yeah, that's all the admin out the way. Please like, please subscribe, and I shall see you again Sunday night. It'll be from my car again, as I'll be working again. So hopefully Backlash is good. We've done our predictions for Backlash, and I want to say it's unpredictable. I think I mentioned this on one of the other videos. I want to say it's unpredictable. I'm quite looking forward to it because I don't know. Half the matches, I don't know which way it's going to go. But we'll have to wait until Sunday even. So I shall see you Sunday when we review Backlash. Thank you and goodbye.